Hey guys, welcome to another edition of Driving with Miranda on the Car Guide. As you see beside me, I have the all-new 2022 Toyota Corolla. Now this is the hybrid version. You are going to hear me mention the manual hatchback as well, since I had that one last week. Doing a bit of a comparison here, but truthfully they are Corollas through and through. Let's see what this new model is all about. Here I am in the 2022 Toyota Corolla. Now the Corolla has never really been my favorite car. I'm going to be totally honest here. I've spent years making fun of it, you know, Corolla drivers and all that, and there's so many of them on the road. It's kind of easy to make them a target, truthfully. But there's a reason there's so many of them on the road. You know, these are really good cars. There's nothing fundamentally wrong with the Toyota Corolla, and that's why they do so well. They check all the necessary boxes when it comes to what's inside, your amenities, the drive, the fuel efficiency, all that stuff. So, first of all, let me tell you that last week I had the Toyota Corolla hatchback XSE version with a manual transmission. So that one had a 2-liter inline-4 that was good for 169 horsepower and 151 pound-feet of torque with the 6-speed manual transmission. What I'm in right now is the hybrid version. So this one has a 1.8-liter 4-cylinder, and it only pushes out 121 horsepower and 105 pound-feet of torque, and it has the CVT with the hybrid as well. So I have EV mode where I can cruise in just battery, but that's dependent on my speed and how much battery life I have. And in the winter, truthfully, it doesn't cruise too much. Mainly like I am right now, sitting stopped, the engine's turned off, and it's in battery mode. So what are the main differences between the two? Obviously, I really like driving the hatchback because it was a manual. It's a lot of fun controlling your own gears. You know, it makes the Corolla feel sporty. It makes it feel alive. And actually, we had a decent amount of snow last week, and I had a huge amount of control, even though it's front-wheel drive. And the manual lets you really dictate how your car is going to perform in slippery conditions. Now, that being said, because it was a manual, and because I wasn't really driving it easily, my average, I think, was about 8.7 liters per 100 kilometers, which isn't terrible. But after a week behind the wheel of this hybrid version, and with the hatchback, it should be noted, I didn't do a lot of highway driving. I didn't really drive it that much at all. And when I did, it was short jaunts, a couple of highway things here and there, but mostly around town, so a lot of stop and go. This one did quite a bit of highway driving, son to school and back, and my average is 5.9 liters per 100 kilometers. So quite a difference there. And then another thing to note is that the hatchback XSE and the hybrid version, both models that I had, pretty much an identical price. Both came in at $29,000 with their options checked and all the little things. So you're not paying more for one or the other. It was a really good comparison, not only in body style and transmission, but just in the way they drive. So let's talk about the hybrid a little bit more. Now it has a CVT, which normally would shoot myself before I say that I like it, but Toyota's done a wonderful thing, and they've made it perform like a normal transmission. So it does this kind of like fake shifty thing. It doesn't drone on like some on the market, and it feels like a really good geared transmission. I actually didn't realize it was a CVT. Obviously somewhere deep down I knew that it was, but I didn't want to accept it fully. So yeah, it's great. It drives really well. It feels solid. Again, even in winter conditions. Again, we had a huge dump this week. It's been frigid, like minus 30 every day. And this little thing powered through, started every morning, didn't even choke through it. Like, it was there, ready to go. Even in deep snow, handled itself really well. I found if I put it in eco mode to drive, there's a little bit less of a throttle response. Like, even if you accidentally hit the throttle too hard, the wheels aren't going to spin, because in eco mode it kind of dulls everything down, slows down that response. So driving in eco mode in the winter, super good idea. Not just to save on gas, but also to give you a bit more control when you're in those slippery situations. Which model would I go for? We all know the answer to that. I would go for the manual hatchback. I love the exterior style of the hatch. Sedan is gorgeous, but I like that hatchback Euro style. And then of course the manual transmission, and you cannot get the hybrid with the manual. It comes one way, that's it. There's also only one trim level for the hybrid. It's the one that I'm sitting in now. That's it. no extras, no different things. This is what you get. The manual can be outfitted in a couple different trim levels, but I would still go for the manual simply because I like controlling my own gears. And like I said, it gives the Corolla a sense of character that I didn't think it could have driving it. Again, I've said some terrible things about Corollas over the years. All the Toyota reps will agree to that. It's not a secret. But it's grown on me, and I get the appeal, and I see why it does so well. And honestly, if it's your first car, if it's a second car, if it's your family car, it's a fantastic choice. You know, you've got a solidly built vehicle that's got longevity, it's built well, it drives well. I don't know. It's a trustworthy decision, and at that price, honestly, for everything that you're getting, it's under $30,000, and it's great. It's a really well put together car. So let it be known, saying it here, I really like the Toyota Corolla. I said it. So inside the Toyota Corolla, and this is the hybrid, just a reminder, it's pretty much like every other hybrid. I do have the tech package, which means it's about $2,000 extra. So I get the heated seats, the heated steering wheel, and there's actually heated seats in the back as well, which my son was super excited about. Otherwise, pretty typical Toyota fare, and you know what? That's perfectly fine with me. And having the manual last week and then the hybrid this week, very little difference besides the shifter here, obviously, and the third pedal. I also had the heated seats and the heated steering wheel in the manual version. I had the charge pad, I had all the things, same screen, same HMI, all the things. Now, in terms of HMI, I don't know, relevancy, Toyota definitely needs to update their system. It looks old, it feels old, it's a little bit clunky. I do appreciate all the buttons on either side of the screen though. I think that's really functional, it's good. You can either use the touch screen or you can use the buttons. Plus you have all your buttons on the steering wheel as well. Obviously that helps. Super easy to connect Apple CarPlay. Plug it in, good to go. In terms of interior space, it seems a little bit small in here. And I never really thought about it because of given my size, but a much taller journalist than me mentioned how small the Corolla was and how he didn't fit, and he was shocked because, you know, cars in the same segment like the Civic, like the Subaru, have much more headroom. And I actually started to think about it, and I am quite close to the roof, and when I look in the back, the roof line comes down quite low in the rear seat. So if you're taller, I think you might have a little bit of a head tilt problem, but in terms of like seat comfort and wideness, super nice. Owen had plenty of room back there. The trunk is a really decent size. Obviously the hatchback had a little bit more space, but the sedan is definitely tolerable. And if you've got longer items, the 60/40 split works super well. Again, just pretty standard fare here. There's nothing really to write home about, but it's also not bad. It's comfortable, it's nice surfaces. I mean, they're a little bit hard touch, softish if you push hard enough. Everything's wipeable, everything's cleanable, which would be great if this is gonna be your family car. I've got a decent sized armrest here, 2 cup holders, standard fare. All my drive mode buttons are down here as well, which we'll talk about in the drive. So I can go from eco to power to normal. And then of course, if I wanna put it in full EV mode, if I have enough of a battery charge, I am free to do that down here by the shifter. But all in all, you know, for a car that's under $30,000, $25,000 to start with this $2,000 tech package, 29-ish, it's really well stocked inside, outside. Looks great, by the way. So let's talk about the exterior now. Toyota's come a really long way over the years in terms of their design. Some might call them a little too edgy now, especially given their clientele or who their clientele has always been. You know, this is a really good way for them to open up the doors to a younger, more modern buyer based on the exterior looks alone. Much more angular, much more futuristic. I really like the look of the Corolla. That's a lot for me to say that. Corolla's never been my favorite car over the years. I've made fun of it endlessly. Corolla attacks. But, you know, this is a good car, and there's a reason it's the #1 selling car in the world. You know, they're built well, they drive well. They might not be anything to write home about, but they do the job, they do it well, they're comfortable, and now they look great on the road while they're doing it. So, you know what? Toyota's checked all the boxes. They have a fantastic hybrid system. probably one of the best on the market. You know, they were the grandfathers of it, and it shows. The drive is great. Again, not super exciting. It's not blowing my mind, but it's doing exactly what it was meant to do. And when that's your goal and you do it, you can't fault them for it. All right, guys. Well, that's been it for me in the Toyota Corolla, 2022 Toyota Corolla. As you can see, I kind of like this thing. So when it comes to pros and cons, off the top of my head, I really can't think of a con, except that I would end up getting the manual and that would cost me more in gas. But when it comes to pros, this thing is loaded with them. So from its drivability to its affordability to the amenities that it comes with, everything about this Corolla checks those boxes. So if you're in the market for a family sedan or a second vehicle, you definitely want to check out the Corolla. As always, if you have any questions or comments, you can hit me up on Twitter or Instagram at Miss Miranda L, on Facebook, Miranda Lightstone, and you can drop a comment below. Hope to see you guys back next week. Stay warm.